They met in the middle of misery. The year was 1930, and the United States was cracking under the weight of the Great Depression. Families were starving, banks were crumbling, and crime was rising out of desperation. In a small house in West Dallas, fate brought together two strangers, Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow. She was 19, smart, small, and full of fire. He was 21, lean, street smart, and already dancing with the law. Their first meeting wasn't dramatic. Bonnie was staying at a friend's house. Clyde walked in, and their connection was instant. A few stolen glances, a few laughs, and by the end of that afternoon, Bonnie was smitten. She had been living a dull life, waiting tables, writing poems in her spare time, and dreaming of escape. Clyde was that escape. Charming, reckless, and already deep into the criminal world, he embodied the excitement and danger she secretly craved. Clyde Barrow wasn't always a violent criminal. He grew up poor in a family of tenant farmers, often sleeping in tents or under wagons. He dreamed of owning a guitar, not a gun. But poverty and the brutal conditions of the Texas prison system changed him. After a string of small-time robberies, he was arrested and sent to East Ham Prison Farm, one of the most violent prisons in Texas. There, Clyde was repeatedly beaten, starved, and even sexually assaulted. He would never be the same again. When Clyde was released, he vowed two things: never to go back to prison and to destroy East Ham however he could. Bonnie, now hopelessly devoted, joined him. She wasn't dragged into crime. She leapt into it. After Clyde's release in 1932, they hit the ground running. Together they formed the Barrow Gang, with Clyde's brother Buck, Buck's wife Blanche, and a rotating group of desperate, angry young men. Their first crimes were almost laughably small: stealing cars, robbing gas stations. But Clyde had ambition. He started targeting banks, planning faster getaways, and arming the gang with Browning automatic rifles stolen from National Guard armories. They traveled through Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, robbing wherever they could, often stopping only to visit family or bury a friend. Each heist brought them more notoriety, and each escape more pressure. The press went wild. Headlines painted them as glamorous outlaws. A roll of undeveloped film left behind at a hideout revealed posed photos: Bonnie playfully holding a pistol and cigar, Clyde pretending to aim a shotgun. The public was captivated. During a time when many hated the banks and distrusted the government, Bonnie and Clyde became folk heroes. People gave them shelter, food, and tips on roadblocks, anything to keep them running. But the truth was far from romantic. Behind the media frenzy, they were exhausted, constantly on the move, sleeping in the woods or hiding in barns. In 1933, Bonnie was severely injured in a car crash. Battery acid from the engine spilled onto her leg. Her burns were so bad that she couldn't walk for weeks. Clyde carried her, bathed her wounds, and kept driving. No hospitals, no doctors, just trust, love, and pain. By now, law enforcement had had enough. The Barrow Gang had killed 9 police officers and several civilians. The tide of public opinion was turning. They weren't just rebellious lovers anymore. They were killers. Clyde's hit-and-run style, once admired, was now feared. His vendetta against East Ham Prison led to a full-scale prison break in 1934, which only escalated the urgency to stop them. Enter Frank Hamer, a legendary former Texas Ranger. Hamer had hunted men before, but none like this. He studied Clyde's patterns, his love for family, his car choices, the roads he trusted. Hamer knew Clyde wasn't random. He was a creature of habit. All he needed was the right place and the right time. That place was a lonely stretch of road in Bienville Parish, Louisiana. Clyde planned to meet an associate there. Unbeknownst to him, the man had turned. On May 23, 1934, Hamer and his team waited, armed and hidden behind bushes. Around 9:15 a.m., Clyde's Ford V8 came into view. No sirens, no warnings, just an eruption of gunfire. In 16 seconds, 130 bullets tore through the car. Clyde died instantly from a shot to the head. Bonnie screamed as bullets riddled her body. They were found dead in their seats, their car a twisted, blood-soaked relic. Inside, officers recovered stolen weapons, a saxophone, and a half-eaten sandwich. The image of their lifeless bodies, slumped and surrounded by shattered glass, flooded newspapers. Crowds gathered. Some even tried to take locks of Bonnie's hair or pieces of Clyde's clothing as souvenirs. Bonnie and Clyde's bodies were put on display in Dallas funeral homes. Over 10,000 people lined up to see Bonnie alone. Despite Bonnie's wish to be buried beside Clyde, her family refused. They were laid to rest separately. Their graves, simple and somber, mark the end of a chaotic journey. Yet, the legend refused to die. Hollywood would turn their story into a film in 1967 that redefined cinema. Songs, books, and documentaries followed. Some painted them as tragic lovers, others as monsters. But the truth? It lies somewhere in between. Bonnie and Clyde were not heroes. They were not victims. They were two young people, angry at the world, driven by love and pain, choosing crime over conformity. They made people believe in freedom, but at a cost soaked in blood. Their rise was fast. Their fall was brutal. And even now, nearly a century later, we're still talking about them. So, were Bonnie and Clyde rebels against a broken system, or reckless criminals doomed from the start? Let us know what you think in the comments. Hit that like button if this story kept you hooked, and subscribe for more deep dives into the dark corners of history.